Hi, friends. Welcome back to Stay Anchored Kids. Last time, we learned about the Tower of Babel and how people tried to make themselves great instead of honoring God. Today, we're going to meet a man who trusted God even when he didn't know exactly what would happen next. His name was Abram. Later, God would change his name to Abraham. And Abraham would become one of the most important people in the entire Bible. Now, Abram lived in a city called Ur. He had a home, a family, a normal life. Then one day, God spoke to him and gave him a surprising command. God said, "Leave your country, your relatives, and your father's household, and go to the land I will show you." Think about that for a moment. God did not hand Abram a map. He didn't tell him every detail. He simply told him to go. And Abram had a choice. Would he trust God or stay where he was comfortable? Abram chose to trust. He packed up his belongings, gathered his family, and began a journey toward a place God would reveal to him. That took a lot of faith. Have you ever had to trust someone even when you didn't know exactly how things would turn out? Maybe your parents told you something would be okay, even though you were nervous. Maybe you started a new school, moved to a new house, or tried something new. Trusting can be hard when we can't see the whole picture. But Abram trusted God. Now, God also made some incredible promises to Abram. God promised, "I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you. All the families of the earth will be blessed through you." Those are huge promises. There was only one problem. Abram and his wife Sarai were getting older. In fact, they didn't even have children yet. How could they become a great nation if they didn't have a son? From a human perspective, it seemed impossible. But God specializes in doing what seems impossible. As Abram traveled through the land God showed him, he built altars and worshiped the Lord. An altar was a special place where people worshiped God and remembered his faithfulness. Abram wasn't perfect. Later in his life, he would make mistakes just like all of us. But one thing made Abram different. He kept coming back to trust God. Now here's today's big question. What is faith? Faith means trusting God because of who He is, even when we can't see everything He is doing. Faith is not pretending. Faith is not guessing. Faith is choosing to trust the God who has proven Himself faithful. Sometimes people think faith means believing without any reason. But that's not true. Imagine sitting in a chair. You trust the chair because chairs are designed to hold people. In the same way, Christians trust God because He has shown Himself to be trustworthy. Abram trusted God's promises even when they seemed impossible. And God kept every single one of those promises. In fact, through Abraham's family line, Jesus would eventually be born. Remember when God said all the nations of the earth would be blessed through Abram? That blessing was ultimately Jesus. Through Jesus, people from every nation can be forgiven and become part of God's family. Before we finish today, remember this truth. You can trust God even when you don't know what comes next. He sees the whole picture even when we only see a small part. All right, friends, thanks for joining me today. Tomorrow, we're going to learn about a promise God made to Abram and why looking up at the stars changed everything. Before you go, here's today's challenge. Ask your parents or think about this question. Can you remember a time when you had to trust God even though you didn't know how things would turn out? And let's finish with a quick prayer. God, thank you for always being faithful. Help us trust you like Abram did, even when we don't understand everything. Remind us that you always keep your promises. Amen. See you next time, friends.